Well, the whole country is this morning in shock as it comes to terms with tragedy in Southport. A 17-year-old male has been arrested on suspicion of murder and attempted murder after those two children died during what has been termed a ferocious knife attack.
Well, 9 other children have been injured. 6 of them are in a critical condition after sustaining stab wounds. 2 adults were also injured as they bravely tried to protect the children from the attacker.
Merseyside police had this to say yesterday evening.
2 adults are also in a critical condition after being injured during the incident. A 17-year-old male from Banks in Lancashire, who is originally from Cardiff, has been arrested on suspicion of murder and attempted murder, and is being taken to a police station where he will be interviewed by detectives. We believe that the adults who were injured were bravely trying to protect the children who were being attacked.
Well, joining us now is GB News reporter Sophie Reaper. And Sophie, this is an attack which has shocked the entire nation. You can't even imagine how the community there is feeling.
Absolutely. Good morning to you both. I think Southport is usually a quiet, calm seaside town in this part of the northwest, and I think the community here will be absolutely rocked by the events of yesterday. Now you can see behind me here the police cordon is still in place here on Hart Street, and that's because about 100 metres behind me is the building where we understand that attack took place, at the Hart Space Studios, which is described as a dance studio. We understand that it was a Taylor Swift dance and yoga class that was taking place when the attack occurred. It's advertised on social media, that class for children aged 6 to 11. Now, Serena Kennedy of Merseyside Police told us yesterday in a briefing that the class was underway when a 17-year-old entered the premises with a knife and began to attack. She also confirmed that 2 children sadly died in the attack, that 9 others were injured, 6 of whom critically, and that 2 adults were also injured as she said, they were bravely trying to protect those children. Now, in terms of community responses, you can see here behind me there are already flowers that have been laid out by members of the community, and there's one note in particular that I'd like to read you. It's entitled Hope. It says, "The sun in all its wonder brings light to every path, yet in its former glory embraces every heart. Each day we take for granted the joys of what has passed, but today our pain of sadness has left a shadow cast, and through this devastation with tears can barely cope. Our love to be ongoing, we cling to future hope." And I think that's a really poignant message that the people of Southport will be holding on to today. Many families will be affected by that attack yesterday, and I think that message of hope is something that lots of people here will really, really need. Now, in terms of that attacker, it's a 17-year-old male who's been arrested, and Serena Kennedy of Merseyside Police confirmed that he will now be interviewed by detectives. He's originally from Cardiff, they said, arrested living in the Banks area in Lancashire. So, of course, we'll be bringing you all the latest on those lines, and we'll be bringing you more as well later from Alderhay Hospital, one of the hospitals where some of those victims were taken after a horrific attack here in Southport yesterday.
But Sophie, I mean, just to make clear to our audience, there's only a certain amount that you can say in these circumstances, and that must be frustrating for people. I mean, there's terrible emotion, poignancy, but that will turn to questioning and anger. There's people will have so many questions as to what the motivation was, you know, who was behind this, whatever. But there are restrictions, are there not?
Absolutely, Eamon. Of course, a 17-year-old arrested, that means that because of protections given his age, it means that his identity will have to remain anonymous unless a judge at some point gives us that permission. But yeah, I think you're absolutely right. There will be sadness, there will be heartbreak over the coming days, but then there will start to be questions. Of course, we know very little at the moment about any kind of potential motive, but I'm sure over the coming days that will be something that families certainly, but also the people in the surrounding area will start to ask.
Yes, there is you, a beautiful sunbathed street today in a lovely seaside town of Southport. This should have been one of the highlight days, as yesterday should have been, of the whole year. 2 days of sunshine, and then all we get is this tragedy, this awfulness.
Well, I think a lot of our viewers will know of Southport, and it's one of those places here in the northwest that it's quiet, it's a seaside town. Lots of people will have family memories either from when they were a child or in their adult life indeed, of coming to Southport, of walking down the promenade or along the beach, having an ice cream perhaps, enjoying what this seaside town has to offer. But this attack will now be a blight on the memory of Southport, this beautiful seaside town, which, as I say, so many people will have beautiful, fond memories of. This kind of thing really just doesn't happen here. One eyewitness yesterday said this is the kind of thing you expect to see in America, not in sunny Southport. And I think that's something that will really resonate with people and residents here in Southport, that indeed this isn't something we see here, certainly on a regular basis, certainly ever. I can't remember anything like this really ever happening in Southport. And I think a big question as well will be, why children, those helpless young lives, aged 6 to 11? Of course, it's never an acceptable thing, but that will really, I think, impact people thinking of that age, year 2 to year 6. It is truly heartbreaking.
It's like something out of a horror film, isn't it? Sophie, thank you for bringing us that update. I keep thinking about those little girls in that dance class, because it will be predominantly little girls, and it was their summer holiday, wasn't it? It was just the start of their summer holiday, and you can only imagine how excited they were to go to a Taylor Swift-themed dance class, and they would have been dropped off that morning, so excited to go in, and this happens. You can't imagine how their parents are feeling.
Terrible. Shocking.
Just terrible.